Welcome to the Halley Elise Show, featuring your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise. She is an author, psychic, and media personality, and has been listed as one of the top 100 psychics in America. Empowerment psychic Halley Elise shares the spiritual, metaphysical, holistic, and magical powers of the universe. Follow Halley on her website at HalleyElise.com, and all her shows can be seen via live stream video. Now, here's your host, empowerment psychic Halley Elise.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. And as always, you hear me say I am excited and delighted about the guest that I have on this evening. I have a friend who is also my doctor. This is Dr. Clifford Goldstein of the Goldstein Family Chiropractic Center, and you'll find that chiropractic may not be as scary or as barbaric as you might have thought in the past. In actuality, it's interesting because over the years, people have gotten more comfortable. You notice that a lot of times in medicine, whether it's holistic or it's Western allopathic medicine, when something new comes out, people say, I don't know, insurance companies won't cover, and then over time it grows. It grows in favor, it grows in popularity, and it also grows in the idea that it might actually work. I can tell you from personal experience, chiropractic definitely works. So without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Clifford Goldstein. Hi.
Hi, Halley. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad you could be here this evening.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, good. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in. People basically think of chiropractic as back cracking. What's your response to that?
Well, it's not exactly back cracking. It's much more specific than that. You know, we determine where the misalignment is in the spine, and we use our hands and we adjust it. We don't really call it cracking. Though I don't get upset if someone in my office calls it cracking.
Okay, like me with snap, crackle, and pop, right?
Right. Yes, that's true.
Okay, so when you say that you put your hands on, it sounds a little interesting. What exactly do you mean? You know, how is it that you're able to find that disc that's out of whack, or I'm going to use one of your words, subluxation, and you can explain what that is with your hands.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm trained in school to palpate the spine, which means I use my hands and I determine where the vertebrae is of the spine. The vertebrae is one of the bones that make up the spine, and I actually determine where these subluxations are, and I use my hands to adjust them, lightly putting a force into the spine and actually moving the vertebrae off the nerve, and that is called a subluxation, which is the word that you use in the office, and it's one of our favorite words.
Okay. So when you go, let's say, to a school to educate children, do you use words like that, or do you make it a little easier for them to understand? Because you're saying that you're lifting or manipulating the bones off the spine. So how can, we'll say, the layperson understand how that's really beneficial? Because, I mean, honestly, you can go, oh, I got a pain in my back. We know that adjustments will help take away that pain. It alleviates the discomfort. But really, what other benefits are there, and how can you explain that to someone, let's say, who's 5 years old?
Okay, it's funny you should say that, because I do talk to different schools and career days, and usually when I do talk to a school, I usually get asked how much money I make, or what kind of car I drive. So, you know, kids have priorities, but I do explain that the subluxation is a misalignment in the spine. The vertebrae in the spine moves out of position, and it presses on a nerve. And when that happens, the brain, which is upstairs, cannot communicate with everything.
Wait, are you sure it's upstairs? I'm sorry. You said that. So that's how you would talk to children or to the people in your office.
Right, it's not in the attic, it's upstairs.
It's upstairs, okay. All right, but how does that help somebody be healthy? I mean, all kidding aside, yes, so we're alleviating pain, we're manipulating the spine, we're taking care of those subluxations, and little kids are excited that you drive, you know, your new BMW. What do you drive? I'm just kidding. But all kidding aside, what is it that somebody can benefit, or how, I should say, can they actually benefit from chiropractic care?
Well, when the spine's adjusted properly, the brain is able to communicate with the body better, because the brain sends signals throughout the body to the different organs, the different muscles, the different tissues, to different cells in the body. And when there's blockage in the nervous system, the body is sick. and the body does not function and doesn't do what it's designed to do. So by freeing up the pressure on the nerve, by removing the subluxations with what is called an adjustment, the body's healthier and the body functions better.
Okay, use the word blockage. Is that the pressure is construed as blockage?
Yes. When the vertebrae is out of place, it causes interference in the nervous system, and that's considered blockage.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, because I want our audience to understand as well, if the body is in alignment, if you get, we'll say, regular adjustments, then the brain has better capacity to function. You can have better mental acuity. I would think that even eyesight and mobility, functioning of liver, kidneys, pancreas, etc., bladder would probably all benefit if you are making sure that the blood circulation within the spine is as fluid as possible and is as high functioning as possible. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
Okay, so you not only take care of, we'll say, the physical aspects, but there is, I'll say, an aspect of the body that really is beyond the physical. For instance, when you look at the parasympathetic system, everybody knows it exists, but they can't really, if you will, put their finger on it. And it seems to be tied in a lot of times to emotion. So if someone is having some sort of emotional distress, if they come in for an adjustment, does that often help? Does it exacerbate? How does that work?
That's a very good question. When someone's under stress, it affects the weakest part of the body. At times, it's the muscles. At times, it's an organ not functioning properly. I mean, we hear that when someone's under stress, they have stomach problems. That's because their stomach is weak. With some people, when there's stress in their life, they have trouble breathing because their lungs are weak. So by aligning the spine, it allows the nerves to supply those organs or those muscles properly that are being affected by stress, and it helps for the patient to handle stress better. Also, by making sure that the muscles are properly supplied by the nerves, a person can exercise and exercise well so that they can handle stress.
Okay. Now, I know you have hanging in the hallway at the office this picture of an older gentleman. I'm thinking he's like the father of chiropractic medicine. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about him and why his face is in your office?
When you said older gentleman, I thought you were referring to a picture of myself, but I'm glad that wasn't the case.
No, because you usually have hats on, so this person has a beard.
Yes, that is the father of chiropractic. His name is B.J. Palmer, and he discovered chiropractic, and he developed, actually his father, D.D. Palmer, discovered chiropractic, and
Say that fast.
Okay,
D.D. Palmer and B.J. Palmer.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
Palmer.
Talk about getting tongue-tied. D.D.
Yes.
Palmer and B.J. Palmer?
Yes.
Mouthful.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
One of them discovered chiropractic.
Yes, the father, D.D.
Okay.
D for dad, maybe?
Maybe D for daddy-o. I don't know.
Yes, he is the discoverer of chiropractic, and his son, B.J. Palmer, is the man who developed chiropractic and developed a school in Davenport, Iowa, which is the first chiropractic college.
So do you think from when chiropractic medicine originated and the Palmers brought this to mainstream that it's changed a lot?
It has changed to a certain degree, but many chiropractors like myself are considered principal chiropractors, and a principal chiropractor is someone that specializes in aligning the spine and doesn't do any physical therapy or any adjunct, because it's very important for the purity of chiropractic to exist. And by adjusting the spine, the body heals and the body functions better.
Okay, can you clarify a little bit what you mean by purity? Because I would think that an adjunct or any adjunct modality that you would have inclusive in a program would be a benefit to the patient. Why does it have to be so pure?
Because there's different philosophies in chiropractic, and I feel that a person can go to a physical therapist and have physical therapy done. A person can't go to a physical therapist and have an adjustment done. So, when you go to a dentist, you want the dentist to adjust your teeth. And the same thing with a chiropractor. When you come to a chiropractor's office, you want someone that specializes in the alignment of the spine. And that's what principal chiropractic is.
Okay, I have to teach you about this. Dentist adjusting teeth. Can you imagine? You walk in, and instead of the x-rays being popped in, the dentist just comes in and wiggles your teeth around a little bit so he hears a pop. And then he goes, oh, you're all better. Sorry, just couldn't help myself. I had that visual that popped in. You know me long enough to know that I'm going to come out with something. Okay, so what inspired you to get into chiropractic? I mean, why? Because there's so many different types of healing, and if you wanted to go into a healing field, really the choices are abundant. What specifically drew you to chiropractic?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to help people, and I didn't want to use medication or surgery, and I just felt there was a more natural way of helping people. And at the time, I was playing softball, and my softball coach was a chiropractor, and he invited me into his office, and I walked around with them, and the patients were happy, and they were happy to be there, and the doctor was joking with them, and I remember he introduced me as a future neurosurgeon, which patients didn't believe because I looked like I was 13 years old at the time. And I just thought it was a very interesting profession, and that the body was helped, without the use of medication or surgery. And I decided to get into the field, and I'm so happy that I did, because I get to help a lot of sick people.
And I will say that most of the time the people are happy. Me, maybe not. I shouldn't tell anybody that. Truth is, I'm happy. It's that initial ow, and then within 2 minutes it's like, oh, much better. So it does make a difference. Mm-hmm. Okay. What does your family think about you being a chiropractor? And I don't mean to be facetious, but, at the time that you went in, I would say, because you've been in practice for a little while here, mm-hmm. that it wasn't necessarily the most popular thing to do in the holistic field. Was your family for you, or were they kind of like, we'll see what happens? I mean, what was the kind of attitude?
Are you asking...
as far as your family, like your parents.
Are you asking if I was the black sheep of the family?
Yeah, indirectly.
Actually, my parents were proud that I was going to be a professional, and that I was excited about a field, and that I was finally leaving the house.
Oh, that's what it was. See, it could have been anything, but you're leaving the house, so that's what it was.
All joking aside, they believed in chiropractic, and I used them as guinea pigs, so to speak. When I came home from school on different holidays, I practiced adjusting them, and it was amazing because different problems that they had were being helped.
That's awesome.
And then they believed in what I was doing.
That's awesome. It really is. We've got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Halley Elise Show. Thank you.
Bob, did you see Halley Elise in the paper?
Who?
The empowerment psychic, Halley Elise. They did a 2-page write-up. The columnist was enthralled. Halley went right to an issue that she was dealing with. I'm looking at HalleyElise.com right now.
What are you thinking? Should we schedule an appointment?
Matter of fact, yes. You have issues with Sue and me, my business. Take a look at her background. It's impressive, and she has decades of experience.
I want to put it on my iPad. What's her info?
Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise. HalleyElise.com. 561-755-2166.
Spell it.
HalleyElise.com.
So it's HalleyElise.com and 561-755-2166, right?
561-755-2166. That's it.
You're listening to Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise, and she invites you to visit her website for more information about all that she does at HalleyElise.com. Now, back to your host, Empowerment Psychic Halley Elise.
Hello, and welcome back to the Halley Elise Show. My guest this evening is Dr. Clifford Goldstein, and he is a chiropractor. So we're finding out a lot about chiropractic, how it benefits, and how it's not just snap, crackle, and pop. He's going to get me for that later. But before we go back to Dr. Goldstein, I just want to share Calypso salt and soap. I know you folks have heard me mention them before. They have these amazing handmade essential oil-derived, wonderful goat milk types of products. There's soaps, and there's oils, and there's fragrances, and the gal Sea Witch, who actually runs the company, will be here in February through March at the Renaissance Festival. So if you haven't had a chance to go online to Calypso Salt and Soaps, try to say that one fast, you can actually see her at the Renaissance Festival. And if you want a little more information, if you didn't catch it on the show, please let me know. I've got a lot of her products at home. Tracy Marks, who does We Are the People, also has talked about this wonderful gal and her products. And if you really like the idea of working with something natural that smells good and that makes you feel good, you want to check out Calypso Salt and Soap. Okay, so without further ado, back to Dr. Goldstein. We were going back and forth about the spine and how it benefits, and I got a little personal and asked about his family, if he was black sheep or not. He wasn't. Shucks. But all things aside, all right, other than what's expected, what is it, and here, if you wondered if a hard question was coming, what is it that you personally have experienced through chiropractic that really stands out in your mind?
Yes, that's another good question. I am a marathon runner, and
yes, you are. I've seen the pictures.
Yes, I am. Not a fast one, but I'm a marathon runner. And I know that chiropractic adjustments have kept my body in shape to run these 26.2 mile races. It is definitely a sport that takes a toll on your body, and a lot of runners will come into my office and get adjusted for that reason, because they want to perform to the fullest of capabilities. So I know chiropractic has helped me in that area of my life.
Okay, so you have somebody else in your office who, I guess, when you need a little adjustment, they are there for you, yes?
That is true. You cannot self-adjust.
I was going to say, it'd be kind of hard, bend over,
Nope.
kind of reach. No, don't want to reach behind your ear, that type of thing.
Yep. Yes, that's so true.
Okay. All right. So what is your most famous, I'm going to say, case with a client, either because they were completely humorous or because they had an amazing recovery or because there was just something unique that stood out about them?
Yes. There was a family, a husband and wife, that came into my office that just had their first child, and they were so happy, of course, and I was happy for them. But as they started coming in on a more regular basis, I noticed that they looked more and more tired.
I wonder why. First child.
Yes. And they explained to me that they've had trouble sleeping because their baby was up all night and was very colicky. And they went to pediatricians that couldn't help them and wanted to prescribe medication, and they did not want to give their infant, their daughter, medication, understandably. So I said to the mom, please let me just check the spine and see if there's any problems with the lower spine, because those nerves do go to the colon and the intestines. And very gently I palpated, which means I touched the baby's spine, and I actually adjusted the spine. And I said to the mom and dad that this is all I need to do, and let's see what happens. Well, they came back the next week with smiles on their face because they were able to sleep, because their baby was able to sleep.
That's
so that was a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, that's incredible. And see, those are the types of things that make you really happy about the work you do, because they're very gratifying. I mean, of course, it's nice on a daily basis to have people come in and you can see that they're feeling better, but you're dealing with an infant. That's pretty amazing. So Goldstein Family Chiropractic really is about the entire family. It's not just for adults, correct? And you didn't just do this as a favor to the client?
It is. It's for the family. Anyone that has a spine can have misalignments. So, of course, I would not adjust a baby like I would adjust an adult. But, yes, they can have their spines adjusted.
Okay. And you said anybody who has a spine can have an adjustment. So what about the family dog or cat? You knew I had to ask about that. Can they bring in their pets?
I didn't know that you liked animals, Halley.
Sure.
There are some chiropractors that do adjust animals. I don't. Not that I don't think it works. I just have never, hasn't been my cup of tea, and I've never taken courses to do that.
Okay. I was just wondering, you did say family. What about the bird? I know no dog, no cat, and maybe the bird. No. Okay. I'm just being silly. So, how many years have you really been in business?
Well, I know I look young, but I've been in practice for 30 years. And my first 14 years were in Pompano Beach, and my last 16 years, I guess, is in Deerfield, has been in Deerfield Beach.
Right, and you're located just off of Military Trail, and that, what is it, a public shopping center there, I believe?
Yes, I'm on Military Trail, just slightly south of 10th, in a public shopping center.
Okay, awesome. If you will, please give out your phone number, because for some reason it's not showing up on the screen. Now it's showing up on the screen. It didn't before.
That's it.
But you know what? For the folks listening to the radio, they're not seeing the screen. So if you could share the phone number where they can reach you, that would be very helpful.
Yes, thank you. My phone number is 954-571-8100. Again, 954-571-8100.
It's pretty easy to remember. I don't know why I have it on speed dial. Besides, I usually do the, can I come in, please? I know you're closing, or are you going to be in on your day off? I want to share with everybody, all kidding aside, Dr. Goldstein has helped me on numerous occasions. A lot of you probably don't know, in the past, I don't know if it's 10 years, 12 years, I've had 4 or 5 accidents. And it was funny, I was talking with a friend earlier today about this, and I was minding my business for every single one. All of them, they got me. One in the front, one in the rear, one on the side. So Dr. Goldstein and I have a mutual friend, and he was the one who suggested that I go see him. And I've got to say that the care has been immense in so many ways, because it's not just finding a chiropractor who knows how to adjust you, but there is something to an alignment with the person that you're dealing with, that they're kind, that they're thoughtful, that they're not rushing you through the process. And Dr. Goldstein doesn't. He takes his time with you, and sometimes he takes way too much time, not with me, but with the other clients. I'm teasing. teasing. But all kidding aside, you know that you can go into the office and you're greeted by nice people at the front desk, and you're greeted by a really pleasant environment. It is not that it's so spectacular, with glass and diamonds, but it's comfortable. And the most important thing is being comfortable, not only while you're waiting, but then when you go in for your adjustment, to really feel like you're being taken care of. And I can honestly say, one of the reasons why I went to Dr. Goldstein on was because he has been invaluable in my care and wellness for many, many years. So there you go. You got a little plug there.
Thank you, Halley.
Absolutely.
Thank you for those kind words.
Absolutely. We won't go into how I torture you when I'm there. Okay. You have children. Are there aspirations in the health field as well, or are they in a totally different arena?
I have 3 boys that I'm really proud of, and 2 are in college, but they're not in chiropractic college. They are doing other things. One is going to be a lawyer someday, and the other one is going to be a basketball coach someday, we hope. And my third son's still in high school, but they all get adjusted, but they just did not want to continue, wanted to...
They didn't want to run the family
business. They don't want to run my family business, so I can't retire early or anything like that. But
probably not, especially with 3 kids. You figure you got to put 3 boys through school. Yeah, you're going to be working for a little while.
I know.
Sorry, it's just the way it goes. Okay, so we have a few minutes left this evening. If there was only one thing that you could share with somebody about chiropractic that you really feel would come from the heart and that would be of value to them, what would that be?
Well, the chiropractic makes people fulfill their abilities to perform to their fullest. People who get adjusted, they just feel vivacious. They feel energetic. They enjoy life more. They don't succumb to stress like other people, and they just have a better lifestyle. So, I really recommend for everyone to get adjusted, or at least be checked to see if they need adjustments, so they can have a better life. And I believe in chiropractic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this profession for so long. And I've seen a lot of miracles in my office, and I'm very fortunate. I have great patients like Halley, who refer me people because they understand the importance of chiropractic. And chiropractic isn't a panacea, but it does help, many problems just by removing interference in the nervous system and removing the subluxations.
Okay. Now, you used the word miracle, so that's a buzzword for me. Since you've had lots of miracles in the office, you shared a little bit about that one case that stood out with the baby. Tell us about something else that's exceptional that you would construe as a miracle.
Yes, I had a avid musician in my office at one time, and after a intense night of playing in a concert that he was in, he developed a wrist drop, which means his wrists, he could not extend his wrists. It was almost as if his hands were paralyzed. And he went to an orthopedic doctor that said he had temporary radial wrist drop, which is the radial nerve.
Okay.
And he decided, and the orthopedic said that it would go away. Well, after weeks and weeks, it didn't go away. And his whole livelihood depended on it. And through a friend of his who was a patient of mine, he found me, and I started to adjust his neck to make sure that the nerves were supplying his arms and his hands and his fingers properly and his wrists properly. And after about a week of care, he started to raise his hands again, and he was able to play the drums about a week later. And
Wow.
That was definitely a fulfilling experience for myself and for my patient.
That's impressive. And on that note, believe it or not, it's our time. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm really glad you could be here. And thank you to all of you who were kind enough to listen in and to tune in. And of course, our archives are on HalleyElise.com. If you need to get a hold of me, you can find me on Google, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. How many social medias do we have? Looking forward to next week. Thanks so much and have a great week. Good night.
Be enchanted and delighted. Connect each week here on WNN for the Halley Elise Show. Also on Facebook and at HalleyElise.com. Thanks for tuning in. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored